So, I'm going to read a preface to the first one. The Illuminati is not a real group. It is just a label. There are three main groups that make up the Illuminati: the Masons, the Jesuits, the Rosicrucians. So if your intention is to be part of the Illuminati, you need to be part of one of these groups, and you need to be wealthy. No poor person ever gets to be part of the Illuminati. The Illuminati has recently changed its name. Cobra, can you share the new name with the listeners?
I did not receive any confirmation that they have changed name because they never called themselves with the name Illuminati. They usually call themselves the Circle or the Brotherhood or anything, or the family even. This is how they call themselves between each other. And this has not changed.
Okay. Are the Zionists and the Khazarians the main branches of the Illuminati? And have the Illuminati divided the world, not by countries, but by regions?
It depends of which group are you speaking about. The world domination is mainly the domain of the Jesuits, which have managed to infiltrate the governments of the vast majority of countries around the world. But the more economic and financial aspect of this is in the hands of the Rothschild faction. And they have infiltrated their people also. And each of those groups have their own regions or divisions of the world, how they divide the world based on their interests. And all this is going to be transformed at the time of the event. So it's even not so much important how they like to divide the world among themselves, because all this is going to change.
Is Israel the grand puppet of the Illuminati?
I would say the vast majority of countries around the world are puppets of the Illuminati, or shall we say of the Cabal, because Illuminati is just one aspect or one label which we can give to the quite complex network of individuals that form shifting alliances within that network.
In the recent reports you posted on your Portal 2012 website, on January 27, 2016, you called Planet X and said that the Planet X is 0.75 Earth masses, and in a recent California Institute of Technology report posted on January 20th, 2016, titled Evidence of a Distant Giant Planet in Our Solar System, says the ninth planet is 10 times Earth's masses, has an orbital period between 10,000 to 20,000 years, and is 60 billion miles from our sun. Is this Planet X that you reported on months ago?
No, it's not exactly, because what the scientists released in January is just their theory, or shall we say, theoretical model that tries to describe and explain the behavior of certain objects in the Kuiper belt. It's not exactly the correct model. In fact, one Japanese scientist has created a far more accurate model, which is much closer to the truth, and I have posted the link to that scientific paper also on my blog, and you can find it there.
Great, I remember that. Thank you very much. Scientists have also discussed the second sun. Is this true? What do you think?
There is a certain theory about, I would say, a small star which is orbiting around our sun, or shall we say that we have a double star system, but this has not been proved, and based upon the intel I have from the resistance, this does not exist.
Okay, thank you.
What is Nibiru and who inhabits it?
Nibiru is a label which is a complete disinformation. It has been created by Illuminati agent Zakaria Sitchin to confuse people.
Okay, so there isn't any such planet as Nibiru.
There is nothing, not such a planet and not such an object inside of the solar system.
Okay.
Thank you. There are many reports of dormant giants being discovered and awakening in caverns around the world. Are these claims accurate?
Yes, some of those claims are accurate. Those giants are put into stasis, into special chambers, which are triggered by a certain vibrational frequency. So when a certain, I would say a certain intensity of flow of subatomic particles and energies from the galactic center reaches the Earth, those chambers get triggered and those beings there are awakened from hibernation, and many such cases have been taking place lately around the world, and this is the militaries of most countries, or shall we say of the major countries, have been suppressing that from the mass population. So whenever that happened, the military went there, special units went there and just suppressed the whole thing. And yes, it was happening quite much lately.
Wow, that's amazing. Are they a positive nature, these giants?
Most of them, yes. Some of them, no.
And why are they waking now? Because of the action that because of the galactic central sun's activity?
Because they have been, they went into those chambers they didn't want to wait for the change. And they have put themselves into hibernation to spare time, so to not to wait too long on this planet. And now when the change is happening, they have interest to take part in this change, but they were not expecting that the surface population will be taken hostage to such a great degree, and now they are taken hostage by the Chimera group.
Okay, so what was their actual function? What did these beings, like, what did they actually come waking up in this time period to do in the planetary liberation process?
They wanted to participate in the shift. They had various agendas. Some of them were quite positive, some of them were not so positive, but they were not expecting that the amount of control and suppression on this planet will go that far.
Gotcha.
And all of them were captured and are now actually hostages in the various military bases around the world.
Wow, thank you very much.
Cobra, I'm going to read a long comment that contains questions, and just bear with me.
Yes, but if you want me to answer questions, we need to go one by one.
Right. It will be.
Okay.
Okay, this person states, a trusted friend with me came with the following information, and there's going to be a YouTube video, our transcript, that people can refer to for more information. And it says to pay attention to the 10.5-minute mark, and it states that non-human beings have given man technology of the military-industrial extraterrestrial complex, or MIEC, to remove a soul, transfer it to another body, and then kill the old body. This is done through an occultist magic technology called soul transference. So now basically the NSA can download your memory and emotions in a computer and then place it into a new clone. This person claims that when she did a ceremony with Mother Earth Creator, she showed her what was being done to all people when they were little, young, and pure. She was shown how the Dark Ones took our souls and manipulated our soulless bodies that were under heavy physiological control. These entities have compromised us all, whether we want to believe it or not. Just because they took our soul did not mean that we were doing evil things. This happened without our consent as very, very young children. When we wake up and finally walk the path less traveled, we are restored again. The NSA has been given ET technology, and we are now able to create clones of us without a soul, and this claim is admitted to in the above quoted video. And then this person goes on to state, it was shown to me that this is the truth and I stand by it 100%. Cobra, can you comment on this?
Okay, I would agree with most of this. There are some things that are not happening exactly as it was stated, but yes, the Cabal has technology for a long time to transfer one soul from one body to another body. It was happening massively during the Archon invasion from 1996, and it was happening massively in military underground bases in the time period between 96 and 99. It is happening much less now, and they are not storing the memory on the computer, the soul essence on the computer. They only can map the brain and the memory connections inside of the brain, so they can have, I would say, like a dynamic photo of an inner happening of a person, but it does not mean they can capture the essence. And the essence of the soul being can always set free and can be liberated. And no matter what they do, they are not able to stop this process. And thanks to the actions of the right forces, especially the resistance movement, this is not happening as much as it was and has decreased almost to zero.
Thank you for that answer, Cobra. On a related subject, how would you identify a clone and its intent?
If you're speaking about a soulless clone, you would feel that mechanical, artificial energy, and there would be no living being interaction. If you're speaking about a soul which has forced into a clone body with technology, it would be very hard for you to tell the difference.
So is there a legal and moral responsibility that we have with all the many clones that may be walking around and living among us on the surface of our planet today, if this is accurate?
You would need to specify this question.
I'm looking at this from the point of view of a human. Do we have any moral or legal responsibility in our interactions with these cloned beings?
Okay, if there is a soul in a cloned body, it is the same as the soul in a born body. There is actually no difference. If we are speaking about a soulless clone, all those soulless clones will be removed from the surface of the planet after the event, because this is not God's purpose for them to exist here.
Well, that would make it a whole lot easier on the humans. Thank you.
Let's cover on the same topic. Do rocks, plants, waters, planets, galaxies, universes, and even suns have souls or spirits?
Yes, every planetary or cosmic body has a higher entity which is ensouling that body. So every planet has a soul or a higher self, and every galaxy, every star has this higher being, angelic being that is taking care of the evolution of that particular body, that's a star body.
Thank you very much. What are the fundamental differences between those souls and a soul that would inhabit a regular human body?
Can you specify your question? Which souls are you speaking about? And I have actually answered this a few minutes ago, so if it's the same question or is another question?
No, it's a different question. I'm asking what is I guess it would be evolutionary, what is the difference between the soul that inhabits a human body and a soul that would inhabit a planet or a universe?
The soul that will inhabit a planetary body is a much higher level of evolution. It's hard to compare those two.
Gotcha. Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you very much.
Cobra, why is the city of Los Angeles in the USA named Los Angeles, which is Spanish, which means City of Angels? And what is the significance of the specific city in the planetary liberation movement?
It is simply because in the 18th century, when the city started to grow, it was part of the Spanish community. There was a church or sanctuary of the Queen of Angels, Holy Mary, as you would call her in current terminology, and then this city grew, and now it is one of the major energy vortexes for the planetary ascension process. The dark forces wanted to suppress this, and Los Angeles was center of a very strong energetic attack in 1996, which wanted to destroy the energy vortex of Los Angeles, and the healing of that attack hasn't been completed yet.
Thank you.
Cobra, since animals are innocent and innocent beings and do not have ego or sin, are the animals also trapped within this prison matrix system, or can they come and go as far as souls?
They are also trapped, but they don't feel that because their sphere of movement is much lower. For example, an animal has no desire to leave the planet because most animals in their lifetime, they don't have that desire to expand their freedom so much, so they don't actually feel there in the prison, except those who are trapped because of human beings in cages and exploited by human beings for various purposes.
I understand, thank you.
Cobra, the resemblances between archons and demons are almost exact. After studying their behaviors, I have no choice but to conclude that they are one and the same. Do you agree with this?
I would say demons are lower archons. I would say archons are the top demons, or the ones who are the most powerful ones.
Why has the fate of Satan and Lucifer been censored in the past Cobra interviews?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, why has the fate of Satan and Lucifer been censored in the past Cobra interviews?
It is not the highest purpose to answer this question.
Okay.
Why do all advanced extraterrestrial civilizations pay such close attention to genetic lineage?
Not all of them. Only those who are not spiritually awakened enough and put too much attention on the physical plane.
What is the quantum probability control?
It is a concept which states that it's possible to control a quantum random function. Of course, not possible. You can predict it to a certain degree, you can group it with sophisticated mathematical equations, but basically it is impossible to completely predict or anticipate what the quantum function will do.
Thank you.
Cobra, I have a preface to this next question. It begins with black magic Satanists rule the world, not politicians, bankers, or military heads. This is an established fact. The few people in alternative media and even our awakened spiritually established community is talking about. It needs to be brought to the light so that we don't miss the point and properly understand the true source of our spiritual battles. It seems as if the biggest trick that the devil ever played was that he never existed, is working out well for him. In order for our listeners to fully understand what we are saying here, we are adding an important YouTube channel video to our transcript for further study on this. My question is, would you describe what black magic is?
Black magic is intentional manipulation of energies with negative purposes.
How do you effectively protect yourself and release yourself from black magic attacks and its effects?
Simply by disengaging yourself from that vibrational frequency. So you need to find What within you is attracting those, and release all attachments to negativity. And this is number one. And number two, which goes deeper, is to cancel all past agreements on a soul level between you and the dark forces. And number three, to protect yourself, there are various techniques of protection. And if you do important missions, and when you are more exposed, you need to follow protection protocols quite strictly.
Thank you very much for that.
Are magic and mind control intimately related? And if so, why? I understand that magic is some sort of advanced spiritual technology.
Yes, exactly. And of course, mind control needs to take into account the principles of magic. Actually, basically, the mind control as the dark forces use is a combination of magic and technology.
What is the meaning and the ultimate use of the blood during magical rituals?
Dark forces use this to strengthen their energy fields, but it's basically just their misunderstanding of the light force.
Thank you.
Could you please define what white magic is?
White magic is use of will to direct energies into the positive purpose.
Since the adversary is now heavily using black magic on the most active light workers as a means to stop them, would you recommend the use of white magic as a method of defense for the light workers and light warriors?
White magic is not just a method of defense, it's a method of creation and manifestation of a positive future. And of course, this is something to recommend if somebody understands what he's doing.
Thank you.
It recently came to light that the Zika virus was patented in 1947 by the Rockefeller Foundation, and now the Zika virus outbreak from a virus no one ever heard of before. It is said that there is a link to the release of genetically engineered mosquitoes. It is said that the same area where the GM mosquitoes were released is in 2015 is the epicenter of the Zika outbreak. This has potential disastrous unintended consequences which now threaten life across the Americas. Is this virus a real threat or just another fear-mongering strategy perpetrated by the cabal to distract us from the real issues that are happening all around the world?
This is not a real threat, it's an engineered fear-generating mechanism, and it's not important at all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Cobra, I'd like to ask you about the Bundy family, the incident that's happening at the Hammond Ranch in Oregon, USA. Is this a real government versus patriots incident, or is it just another cabal fear-mongering related distraction?
The dark forces have manipulated genuine feelings and genuine resistance against the cabal to twist the whole situation in a way that would, they're actually studying the response of the militia, it's like a psychological testing, you might say.
Are those Bundy individuals related to the famous Bundy Illuminati Blood 13 families?
They have some distant relation, but the bandits that were resisting the cabal are not part of the Illuminati.
Thank you. Judge Anna von Reitz said within the alternative news channels communities that as of January 1st, 2016, a new president of the new Republic of the United States, Joseph F. Dunford, has been sworn in, and that all corrupted traitor congressmen, senators, and chief justices were being quietly replaced. It is also said that no sovereign nation associated with the AIIB or the BRICS is allowed to recognize Pentagon dark hats controlling military operations, as being representatives of the free will of the Republic of the United States citizenry as of January 1st, 2016. Is there any truth to this?
I cannot confirm this because when the Republic is announced, you will see it in your lives directly.
Gotcha.
It will be very evident and there will be no doubt. And this will happen at the time of the event and absolutely not before.
Cobra, is there going to be a U.S. election this year with the current cabal-appointed puppet candidates and therefore endure more years of dog and pony shows of this sort, or are we going to really experience change this year?
I cannot give any statement when the event will happen, so if the event does happen before the election, there will be no election. If the event happens after the election, there will be an election.
Do you see the possibility that Hillary may be arrested before the election?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Cobra, regarding the petition that you announced and you wanted to make viral about the secret space program disclosure, some Prepare for Change members have noticed and reported many obstacles that have been prevented them from signing this petition. And worse, we have noticed a constant readjustment of the numbers of signatures in the petition, sometimes dropping of signatures from 50 to 75 signatures to sometimes as much as 5,000 to 705,000 signatures dropping at once. How do we ever achieve any type of critical mass with any of our petitions if the cabal is manipulating all the petitions on the internet in this manner?
Okay, the purpose of this petition was not to reach a very high number, and the critical number has been reached. A certain process has been initiated because of this petition. I will post more about this when the time is right. So we must not get frustrated if Cabal is starting to block all those efforts, because each time they do this, they violate certain protocols, and because they violate those protocols, this will have long-lasting effect in the final surrender and negotiation process. And it actually speeds up the process of the event.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that.
Cobra, do the Templars have total control of Switzerland?
No.
Is it true that after the fall of ancient Egypt, the pharaohs' bloodlines migrated to what is now Switzerland, along with their enormous wealth and established residence there? And
No,
those bloodlines? No. Okay. Thank you.
Ordo Templi Orientis, or the Order of Oriental Templars, or Order of the Temple of the East. What do you know of this order?
They are not Templars. It's simply a magical order which was created by Aleister Crowley, and they are following certain philosophy that has been greatly misunderstood and also manipulated by the Cabal.
Thank you.
It is said that Barbara Bush, wife of George Herbert Walker Bush, who served as the 41st president, and mother of George W. Bush, who served as the 43rd president of the U.S., is the granddaughter of Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley was a Mason, a known bisexual and occultist, magician, and well-known Satanist who earned the title of the most wicked man in the world. He wrote the Book of the Law that was later in use as the foundation of the Satanic Bible, and he also wrote many other satanic books. Is this true?
Most of it, yes.
The part about the Barbara Bush being the granddaughter?
Yes, they are related.
Thank you very much.
Cobra, you said in your last interview the Supreme Court Judge Scalia was murdered. Was this by dark forces?
It was a conflict between two factions of the Cabal, and he was murdered as a result of that conflict.
So that was the reason he was murdered? Because of the conflict?
Yes.
Okay.
Are archons able to turn towards the light and change to do good instead?
Yes, they are.
According to Karen Hughes, who works for the World Bank, the world today is run by a coalition of the rule of law in the Board of Governors of the IMF and the World Bank. Is this correct?
First, she's not working for the World Bank anymore. She used to work for the World Bank. This is number one. And number two, the ones who run the world outwardly are the Jesuits, and not the World Bank and not the IMF.
Will you please explain to us who are the cauliflower ear faction of the Illuminati and what is their specific function?
Can you repeat that again?
Yes. Who are the cauliflower ear faction of the Illuminati and what is their specific function?
I have no information about that particular faction.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Cobra, the next question has a preface to it. It's called the Spear Being Deception. The Spear Beings are a group that gained notoriety on the internet from the postings of Corey Good. It is claimed on the internet that his mistake is that he made the assumption that the blue avians were actually the Sphere Beings. The blue avians are a group from the Lyra constellation that appear to the people of the surface of the planet who have most potential to aid in the evolution of humanity. The blue avians are what we consider a six-dimensional race. The Sphere Beings are a group of very large reptilians who are basically the father race of the Draco factions that are currently holding out on our planet. The Sphere Beings have created an outer barrier in order to delay the situation for as long as possible. The main tool of deception is their ability to mimic voices to channelers and other telepaths. They usually latch on to legitimate information in order to pervert it. Their goal was to make as many people as possible in the awakened community believe that they were the creators of the galaxy. Cobra, can you comment about this? What is your information and is this accurate?
This is absolutely not accurate. The Spirit Beings or any connection with the Spirit Beings, they are not reptilians. They have absolutely no relation with the reptilian race. This is as much as I can say.
The U.S. stock market seems to have a mind of their own, not following any of the traditional economic data reports anymore. It doesn't matter how bad the economic indicators look and break lower and lower historical records, it does not matter if all of the world stock marketers are crashing. The U.S. stock markets just keeps thriving and going higher and higher. This is obviously a bold and complete manipulation of the U.S. stock markets by the cabal, and it seems that it is a lifeline and a very good source of income for them. Is this manipulation of the stock markets going to end at any time soon, or are we going to have to wait until the time of the event when the stock markets will be completely shut down for good?
We will have to wait for the event for that.
Thank you.
Cobra, has the Federal Reserve been taken over by the U.S. Treasury, or is this just another rumor?
This is just another rumor and it's not based on truth.
Thank you. Pope Francis seems to be cooperating with the light forces in many fronts. Is he doing it willingly out of a sudden change of heart, or is he being forced by the light forces to play ball or else? Or is he just positioning himself as a good guy after all? So when the event happens, he and the Vatican can get away with most of the horrific crimes they have been committing throughout humanity for the millennia.
First, you need to state where exactly is he cooperating with the light forces. He is a Jesuit and he wants to put a friendly face so that he will survive at the time of the event. He wants to save his own skin and the skin of his fellow Jesuits. And I don't see much concrete positive action from his side.
No, that answers the question. Thank you very much.
Cobra, you have said repeatedly that there won't be any natural disasters happening on our planet in the short term. What about the mid and long term, such as the next 10, 20, or 30 years?
It is too early to speak about that at this moment.
Okay. What about during the upcoming expected galactic pulse?
It is too early to speak about that also.
Okay. Can you share any intel on this matter at all?
Yes, actually, the galactic pulse is a process which has already started. It will have one peak at the moment of the event, and there will be further peaks of the galactic pulse coming later, which will trigger more changes on the planet.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. What is the plan for the Palestinians and their country of Palestine to make right the 69 years of brutal brutal occupation, abuse, murder, suppression, and terror the Palestinians had to endure since the creation of Israel, and their never-ending land grabbing, confiscation, and surgical ethnic cleansing?
At the moment of the event, all this will be balanced out. Palestinians will have their own independent territory where nobody will be occupying them or forcing them into anything.
Great. For those who are not fully aware of the extent of the damage and abuse we are describing here, we are adding a link of the amazing video and transcripts of this interview, a speech directly from the mouth of a member of the influential Zionist Israeli family, who also is an ex-Israeli soldier, son of very famous Israeli army general. The speech is made by Nico Pellet, and the YouTube video is titled "An Honest Israeli Jew Tells the Real Truth About Israel." How is this going to be effectively handled so it is finally fair for the Palestinians? How are the Palestinians going to be compensated?
It's not about compensation, it's about final reconciliation process and the peace process which will begin when the Cobra is removed. Most Israelis have no desire to fight with Palestinians. They have been programmed and engineered in that direction when the Cobra is removed. Peace will be reinstated and the healing process between two nations will begin.
Thank you.
Cobra, it was announced on alternative media channels that the pilot of the infamous flight MH370 of Malaysia Airlines that disappeared in March of 2013 was found alive but with amnesia. Is this true, or is this just another elaborate hoax?
It is not true.
Okay.
Corey Good pointed out that while the SSP Alliance Council and the Earth Alliance have the same goal, full disclosure and release of advanced technologies, they are very different agendas over how to achieve this aim. Many in the Earth Alliance want to spread out disclosure of the truth over 100-year period, and in the meantime allow China and other Eastern nations to become the new hubs of the international business and high finance. He pointed out that while the Earth Alliance and the SSP Alliance represent the full spectrum of humanity, they have been deeply fragmented in negotiations over what should be done to disclose the truth to the rest of humanity. Many in the Earth Alliance believe it would be irresponsible and foolish to move forward with a massive document dump, which would overwhelm the populace. Another issue discussed was that the Earth Alliance has been infiltrated by the Cabal Illuminati operatives who have been given access to all the documents that have been prepared for dumping into the public arena at some point. This was a cause of great concern for the Alliance Council, who believed that it would enable the Cabal Illuminati to devise ways to neutralize the impact of such documents at the time of their eventual release. All of this sounds to me as a Master Cabal plan to make us believe that we are not ready for the entire truth, so we should accept 50 or 100 years of their diabolic rule while they conveniently fade away into the sunset. The background free on any responsibilities and faults. What is your take, Cobra?
First, I would say the more advanced part of the Earth Alliance is not promoting limited disclosure. They are not promoting 100 years of Eastern domination. It is true there are certain Chinese dynastic families and certain factions that do want that, but they are in minority. And this is not such a big problem, as Corey Good has stated. So there is no need to be afraid of this limited partial disclosure. It is not going to happen, because the light forces are pushing for full, complete and total disclosure, and only that will happen. And they will keep on fighting until that happens. They will not give up. They will not suddenly change their mind and shift the course. It's not going to happen.
Thank you very much.
Yay, thank you. Are we able to cease spiritual evolution at some point in the future?
You mean like stop it completely or what?
Yes.
It's not going to happen, because evolution is a life force which is not, it's not possible to stop it in any way. It is like a river which never stops.
Okay, this person goes on to ask, are we forced to go forward with our spiritual evolution in a way in which the Archons are forcing souls to come back to Earth? Is there a choice here that we have?
We are not forced to go forward. There is a natural desire of every sentient being to go forward, unless that being is completely manipulated, because everybody wants to feel better. Everybody wants to be more happy. And you are not forced to want to feel more happy. You have a natural tendency and desire to feel more happy.
So it's a good thing.
Yes, of course. Isn't that obvious?
Okay.
Beautiful, thank you. So, Cobra, what is the purpose of the ego?
The concept of ego is an Archon creation. The concept of ego is a belief in separate entity from your incarnated soul.
So how would you go past that? How would you defeat that?
Defeat what?
The ego, that perception that we're given.
You don't need to fight with so-called ego. You don't need even to think about it. You can just be who you are, express that, explore that, and transform that if that is needed.
Thank you.
Cobra, Sintamani is a clear Sanskrit word. Sinta is a brain, and the mani is called stone or crystal.
That is not exact translation. Sita is mind and mani is jewel, but Sinta, this word does not mean mind. So
Okay.
the one who was making this translation was not absolutely correct. So what was the question?
The question was, what is mentioned here, is this the illuminated brain?
No, it's not illuminated brain. Sintamani stone is I would say, the stone which is a reflection of your inner jewel, of your higher self, your I am presence.
Does this have a relationship with the pineal gland?
No, it has a relationship with your spiritual heart, your I am presence, and the totality of your being.
There's another stone It's called, okay, I don't know if I can pronounce this, Skyamanthika Mani. It's a blue stone or crystal which Krishna possessed in his lifetime. Do you know about this stone?
Yes, it is an extremely rare stone, even rarer than Chintamani. It's actually a higher frequency of Chintamani stone. And I don't know of anybody who is having that stone on the surface of the planet right now. It is simply not found.
Okay, thank you.
There's been a new discovery made off the Giza Plateau. This was discovered by Carmen Bolter and her team, creator of the Pyramid Code. There are apparently 3 levels of Costco-sized chambers. Can you tell us more about this?
No, because I don't have much information about this.
Okay.
Can you tell us about the Arcturians and what their specific role is in the planetary liberation?
The Arcturians are very powerful in transmuting belief systems and connecting the mind with the 5th and higher dimensions. And they are also very strong in working with the energy grid, so they are healing the energy grid around the planet and preparing the energy grid for the event.
Thank you.
Who are the Hathors and what are their specific role in the planetary liberation?
Can you repeat that question again?
Who are the Hathors?
Hathors.
Oh yes, okay. They are connected with the Pleiadians quite much, and their purpose is to awaken the connection between the emotional body and the soul presence among the awakened population.
Thank you.
I'd like to take just a quick reminder here to ask our listeners to please donate to Prepare for Change to help us keep our website improving constantly. You can go to our webpage and click on the right-hand column where it says Donate. Thank you. I have a question from an individual that writes, I am awakened in a dream. Where am I? In the world modulated by my dream? Or am I somewhere in other dimensions or the astral plane?
So if you're speaking about the lucid dreaming, you are awakened in your astral body and you can explore the objective astral plane, which is as real as the physical plane. If you are not awake in lucid dreaming, you are simply processing mostly your inner subconsciousness and you are located within your astral body and processing your own inner situations. But if you have managed to awaken to the point where you are aware that you're dreaming, you can start exploring your surroundings on the astral plane in the same way you can now explore your physical surroundings on the physical plane.
Thank you.
Does the force of gravity have a positive, negative, or neutral nature?
The force of gravity is just a physical force without any physical or without any positive or negative connotation.
The Bible also mentions that the Tower of Babel and the appearance of the languages for the purpose of the people to spread it through the earth, implying that there was only one language before. What is the real purpose of the different languages? Was it a negative invention?
Yes.
Is colloidal gold as effective as monatomic gold?
Not to the same degree, but it still has a positive effect.
Cobra, do parallel realities exist?
Some people describe various planes of creation as parallel realities. So we have the physical, the etheric, the astral. These are actual parallel realities. That concept of parallel realities as parallel Earths existing in other dimensions, like coexisting two physical planets in different timelines, this does not exist.
What languages will we speak after the event?
The same languages as we speak now, for a certain period of time.
Will we use telepathy after that period is over?
At a certain point, yes. Yes, okay.
On some level, do twin souls affect each other's consciousness or emotions? Or are they completely separate mentally?
They are always connected on a higher plane, on a beyond fifth dimension, and there is always a certain level of exchange on a physical and emotional and mental plane through the so-called permanent atoms, which means that there is always a flow of energy between the two.
Thank you. What happens to discarnate souls after post-event?
There will be a huge purification of the etheric and astral planes. There will be a lot of light flowing in those planes, and all those souls will be contacted with spiritual guides, and they will be guided to go wherever their higher purpose is.
Thank you. Do ETs have the equivalent of falling in love in other planets?
They feel love all the time. They don't fall in love. They rise in love.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Are the White Draco Council of 200 still actively ruling our planet?
They never were ruling our planet.
Oh, they never were. Okay.
Cobra, what is the difference between the portals and black holes which link distant places to the same universe and ones which link places to different universes?
Black hole is just a concept which is used by current science to describe a certain reality of hyperdimensional wormholes. And those hyperdimensional wormholes connect two different points in space-time continuum, and the distance between those 2 points is not an issue because on fixed and higher dimensions they are always connected. And this is the principle based on which the wormholes operate, or those stargates operate.
I understand. Thank you.
Cobra, can you tell us why the Rh negative blood type was created, where it came from, and what its purpose is, and how it differs from positive?
I cannot go into details of this, but there was a lot of extraterrestrial intervention regarding blood types, a lot of research, especially in times of Atlantis, regarding different blood types. There were various ET groups actually interfering and messing with human blood type and experimenting with relations between the blood type and the genotype. So we have a very mixed situation here.
Okay.
Cobra, can you tell me what Brahma is, or who Brahma is?
Brahma is one aspect of creative source. We would, some people call it the third aspect, the creative aspect, the one that creates universes.
Thank you very much.
Did Brahma create the secondary anomaly or primary anomaly?
No, there was no conscious being creating the primary anomaly. The primary anomaly is a random function which just appeared as a result. It was always there as a potential, but when there was enough consciousness, that potential manifested in the universe.
Thank you.
If wing makers are the ancient humanoid race, are they creators, or they're creators of Anunnakis?
I will not use the concept of Anunnaki because it was again an invention of Zecharia Sitchin, who was an Illuminati puppet and has spread a lot of disinformation. So I would prefer not to use that word, which is first wrongly translated from the Sumerian, and second, does not describe a genuine interest group.
I love it. I don't want to use that word anymore either. Thank you.
Many ascended masters like Djwal Khul, Babaji, are said to be still living in the Himalayas. Babaji said to one of his disciples that he will openly interact with the public, the Earth governments, in circa 2040. This is probably after the event, once new people's governments are established on the surface. Can you please elaborate more about this and the underground bases in the Himalayas?
Okay, there are two questions. The first question, this information is coming from a certain source and I cannot confirm it is true about the time when Babaji will appear. He will appear as an ascended being in his light body when the time is right after the event. And about the second question, yes, there is a Pleiadian base in the Himalayas on the Indian-Chinese border, and this base is quite important because it holds a certain energy balance for the planet. And people who visit that part of the world can see and experience many interesting and wonderful phenomena in that area.
Thank you.
Cobra, in one of your previous interviews with Prepare for Change group, it was said that the soul's agenda is to return with the source once again. What happens to the soul, the individual, the personality, when this happens?
The personality gets absorbed back into the soul, because you never were a personality. Personality is just a reaction of the soul on the primary anomaly. It's a secondary function of a being. It's not the primary function of a being.
I understand, thank you. But how does this, once the soul evolution is complete and once the being is back to its source, what happens then?
When the being is back to the source, it becomes one with the source again.
And what is it able to do then? Does it continue to evolve, or is it finished?
The source is always dynamically expanding, and the evolution never ends, but it's just deepening of itself. And the source deepens connection with itself, through itself, as a totality of existence.
Thank you.
In the Ascension Plan, you said the majority of the 70 billion non-incarnated human souls were mass evacuated on August 14, 1999, to the motherships of the Ashtar Command and then transported to a certain planet on the outskirts of the Pleiades star cluster. The only souls remaining on the etheric astral planes were those who were direct hostages of the non-physical archons, those with strong attachments to the physical plane, and those who decided to stay to help the physical humans as spiritual guides. With so many souls having left Earth, can you say anything about the source of souls for children who were born on Earth since that time?
There were just a few billion people born.
Can you tell us anything about them, their nature, or?
Yes, some of them are quite awakened, and they are here to raise the vibration of the planet, and especially the vibration of humanity.
Thank you.
Cobra, you confirmed once in your interviews about walk-in phenomenon, about the walk-ins phenomenon, when a human person soul is leaving the body and is replaced by another soul. How is this possible? By request? Is it by request? Do both the incoming soul and the outgoing soul have to agree to this?
Yes, exactly. Both have to agree, and the exchange happens with mutual agreement of both, and there is a certain energy process which they go through, and it's actually a very rare phenomenon. It is not something that happens quite as often as people think and claim.
Okay, will this still continue after the event?
In some rare cases, yes.
Thank you. What is the criteria that is met by the body host in order to accept by the incoming soul?
The body itself needs to be suitable for the incoming soul to come in, the right vibrational frequency, the right body type, and there needs to be a certain higher purpose for the exchange to happen.
Thank you very much.
Are there different energy grids on the planet with different sets of vortexes?
Yes.
What is the current status of the planetary energy grid?
The planetary energy grid is healing quite rapidly, and there has been a lot of progress in the last few years, which will make it much easier for humanity to go through the process of the event.
Are there positive and negative grids?
Yes, there are.
Are there entries into the inner Earth at the South and North Poles?
No.
Thank you.
Are there akashic records for all planets, universes, or is this an anomaly that pertains to Earth?
Akashic records exist of everything that has ever happened. But we are speaking about just the recording of the event, not the energy charge of the event that happened.
And this is the same throughout the universes?
Yes.
Can this information be accessed by other beings that are not part of the Earth or universe?
As long as it serves a higher purpose, yes.
Thank you.
What can we do to remove, limit the effect of chemtrails have on our physical bodies until the event happens?
First, do not be overly concerned and focus too much attention on the chemtrails. The food that you eat and the water that you drink has much greater effect on your well-being. And there is much more you can do about that. And we will have to finish very soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
The attacks on light workers that are more involved in bringing about the event continue, and there is additional protection methods that can be used in place or in addition to the pink egg that will completely stop or prevent the attacks. Is there information that you can give us to help people protect themselves during this stressful time?
I have given a few protection techniques on my blog, and you can just go and find them and use them.
Thank you, Cobra. Okay, I think we're coming to the close of our session here with Cobra, and I would like to thank the many people who have made this possible. I want to thank Cobra, first of all, for being a gracious guest, and my co-interviewer, Richard, Aaron on sound, Danelle for her transcription expertise, Antoine for modulation and editing, and Eduardo and Dane behind the scenes. For all the wonderful listeners, thank you all so much. Check out the transcript for reference links relating to the questions asked today in this interview. And remember, we are all voices of the world. Thank you, Cobra. Do you have any parting words for us today?
Yes, we are entering a very intense period, which will bring many changes, and I would ask everybody just to stay centered and calm no matter what happens.
Excellent. Thank you very
Will
much.
do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you like our information, please subscribe and share on social media and help us reach our goal of 144,000 subscribers. We are well on our way and adding hundreds of subscribers daily. The event is coming soon YouTube channel. The event is coming soon Facebook page and the event is coming soon.com are your sources for news, information, and intel about the event and disclosure. Make sure you search our library of videos. You may have missed some very important information and intel. Remember to subscribe to receive updates on our new videos. If you are already a subscriber, we thank you for subscribing. It's people like you that make our channel a success.
We leave you in the love and the light of the one.